All right, guys, it's Paul Singh, the Market Speculator, with the trade report for Friday, February 23rd, 2018. Added a couple of positions yesterday, one short, one long. We'll get to those in a second. But first, let's take a look at the market. Yesterday, a lot of back and forth here. We're sandwiched between the two moving averages. This is an important level. We talked about this going into the week. Do we break down here or break out above this level? We've had that first initial move. And now we're waiting for that next move. And yesterday, at one point, looked like we were going to break through, just like the previous days. And at one point, looked like we were breaking down below that level. And the key here is when we get to the level, either the upside or the downside, one of three things is going to happen. We're going to get a post-Brexit kind of move like we had in 2016 summer here, where we had the big drop. It consolidated, then resumed trend, and it was back to normal. And we also had the early 2016 move, which I'm gonna have to go to the 2-day here, but it will become very clear, where there was a W pattern where the initial bounce started to pull back and tested the lows, and then we made the run. So either one of these could happen right now, in the sense that we go back to trend and this is just a consolidation, and as we take out resistance levels, we keep adding positions, or it breaks down and tests the low and then bounces. In that case, we can short here and then play the bounce going up. And then the third thing, we get down here and then we actually turn into a downtrend, and that would probably get us into some really a really scary period. But we could obviously short this and eventually play a bounce down here. So three things that could happen right now. We don't know. So we just kind of play it out, watch things to happen. Probably won't happen today, but we will be really keyed on this next week. And then the cues here, similar pattern, although overall more strength in the sense that we're above the moving averages, and IWM has been lagging, which is not a good sign for the market. Now our positions, LABU still above our entry level, still have the stop. So I've gone back and forth between entry level or down a little bit. I'm going to go down a little bit today to about 84, 85, which would only amount to like a $200 or $300 loss, so almost break even, really. But I wanted to let it test the 50-day moving average. So we'll say the stop's at 84 right now, and we're sitting at 91. We're about to pop a little bit this morning to 93. Other positions, now we added WBAI. This is a kind of a runner short, maybe parabolic short. This was close to 100% gain. We had an kind of an inverted hammer here, and then yesterday another poor close, so I decided to short on that. Target's going to be around the 9. Stop is going to be above the high. We'll say 1920 to 1930. So that was the idea here behind WBAI. Huge move, huge run. Looking weak here, so would expect a pullback and maybe even deeper than 9. In that case, this would be a huge win if it tested the old range down here. But our initial target will be right around the 9 for WBAI. Parabolic short setup, short that one. And then UWT, we talked about this in the morning, that if oil inventories were strong and it showed strength at these moving averages, we'd go long. That is exactly what happened. Low risk, high reward. We can place our stop just under here, a couple of points just under the 50-day moving average, and we can have an initial target up here around 32, which would be the top of the range. And with this strength, maybe we even end up getting a breakout. So right now, long LABU, long UWT, essentially long biotech and oil, and short WBAI. Now, I don't anticipate taking an entry today, but if I do, it could come from BA, which is testing the high, Netflix testing the high, NVIDIA testing the high, and all of these are pulling back from the high. Tesla, a little different. It was lagging, not at the highs yet, but has remounted these moving averages. FCX showing strength at the 50-day moving average. Couple of retails, KSS here, JCP also looking strong. So don't anticipate adding, but if you're looking to add, go to the focus list. The stuff we've been watching basically all are still pretty good if you want an entry to the long side. But I'm not sure I'm going to take any more entries until we get resolution of that range we've been talking about, and probably not going to happen on a Friday before the weekend, but you never know. So that's it for the report today. We've got a lot to think about going into next week. This week, not much resolution, but we have added a couple of positions in here. So we'll see how those play out. All right, guys, if you don't hear from me the rest of the day, I will see you before Monday's market open, and have a great weekend.